Hey guys, welcome back to It's Pretty Simple. I'm your host, Nikita Kohli, and today I've got a guest with me, my first guest in the studio.
Hey.
I have Katherine here with me. Katherine is a fellow personal trainer as well, and we've met in Valencia. And she has a very interesting story of her life in fitness and just her life in general. And I really wanted her to share it with me and with you guys. And maybe, some of you can resonate, some of you can relate with it. So I'm going to let Katherine take over. How are you doing, Katherine?
Hey, well, it's great to be here, and I'm really honored to be your first guest in your new studio.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm Katherine. I have been in the fitness industry since 2009. Living in Valencia for 8 years with my 17-year-old daughter. As a single mum, I coach women only, women in their 40s and their 50s. My kind of mission is to help women build strong, long-lasting bodies. So that's kind of me in a nutshell, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you said you started coaching in 2009, correct?
Yeah.
So how old were you then?
I was 39.
How did you find yourself in the industry?
Okay, so I've always been into fitness, always. Like at school, I was in all the in the netball team and the hockey team. I've ridden horses all my life, so I've always been really, really sporty. And when I left school, I was a riding instructor for a while. And then life kind of got in the way, and then I ended up in Hong Kong working in property, and then London in advertising, and then fast forward. I mean, I've always said being either in gyms or running, or training friends and training all my partners. I always kind of got them fit. I'd take them, and so it was something that I've always enjoyed. But in 2008, I had my daughter. In 2009, I left her dad. Okay, so I was living in Madrid at the time, and I had this tiny baby. I went back to England, and I suddenly thought, I'm here, help. I need to. So I trained. I got my qualifications, and spent a year training, and then started my business. So life just. So they say life begins at 40. So I was 39. So yeah, 39 going into my 40th year. And so it just shows it's never too late. It's never too late to start. So yeah, I was 39. So I'm 55 now. 55, be 56 in December.
Wow. Well, you don't look it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I have a secret to that, which we might talk about.
We are going to get
to that.
This is why I wanted you here.
Yeah.
Describe your biggest transformation. And I think this is where this comes in. So your journey, your personal journey, not with the women.
3 years, 8 months ago, I stopped drinking. I quit drinking I haven't had a drink since 1st of January 2022. And this is why at 55, I have more energy than I did when I was 35, when I was 25 even, because in my 20s and my 30s, it was just kind of a blur, actually, in my 40s. So my biggest transformation has been stopping alcohol completely, 100%. And it was the best thing I ever did.
And what was the reason you made that decision?
Well, okay, where do I start? Because first time I got drunk, I was 14. Okay. Yeah. But I was at boarding school. I remember it was sweet sherry. I remember it was, I mean, I've never drunk sherry since, even, in my, never again. But so at 14, it kind of started and it never stopped. My 20s were a blur, but adventures, fun, it was great. That was fine because it was kind of fun. It was partying, kind of young, free, single, having a great time. Then 30s, it started to become a need rather than just fun. And then in my 40s, it controlled my life. It was, I'd wake up every day still, and training, as a trainer, but wake up every day thinking, when was the first time I would be able to drink in my day?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was planning my day around, planning which supermarket I could go to that day who hadn't seen me the day before. It was when alcohol dominated my life. I mean, dominated my life.
You were self-aware.
Oh, totally. Yeah. It was, just being in the embarrassment and the shame and waking up. But this went on for years. I mean, the shame and berating myself, but I was functioning. I was functioning. I was helping other women feel fabulous. I was bringing up my daughter on my own. I looked after my sick mum, who fortunately she died. But I mean, I was coping. I was doing it all. But it got to the point. Well, actually, then fast forward, then COVID, and I remember during COVID, I was doing 3 live sessions a day online, drinking 2 bottles of wine a day, and then it was like on this kind of rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. And I said after COVID, it's got to stop. That was in 2020. It then took 2 years. Stop starting, trying willpower, trying sober October, trying dry January, and not really facing my whys. Why was I drinking? And if you just try and change, if you just try and white knuckle it, it's like trying to lose weight. If you just kind of go, I just want to lose weight, but if you've got it, it's taking what I help. That's one thing I help the women that I work with, is looking at the whys, and then you're looking at the behavior change. So it took me quite a while to, well, there wasn't really a rock bottom. It was
there
wasn't. Funny, I was thinking about this, not necessarily rock bottom, but there were 2 incidents I can think of which happened in Valencia, which were leading up to the final, me deciding not. One, I went to a party. It was someone's birthday party in a bar in Valencia. I remember leaving the party, but then I remember waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, leaning against Mestalla, the football stadium. My shoes were just to the side. My bag was over here, and I kind of woke up leaning against one of the pillars. I don't remember what happened from leaving the party to that moment. I mean, I was safe. I had all my stuff. So that was one incident. I mean, I used to black out a lot. Another one was when I was really just, yet again, at a party, at a kind of, it was a dinner party or a lunch party, and just being a dick, to be honest. Just be calling people out and just being, and everyone kind of going. And I was just maybe just suddenly became more aware of how I behaved when I was drinking. And I was like, I don't want to do this. Self-respect, just gone. I was just behaving like a dick.
Did it impact your friendships?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Relationships, friendships.
Totally. And actually, when I stopped drinking, it had a big impact, because a lot of people that I used to socialize with, I then...
You had to cut off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of sacrifice that comes with making that big of a change.
Yeah. I suddenly feel really emotional. I feel kind of, yeah.
I mean, it's a big thing.
Yeah. Suddenly saying it out. I feel really quite, it's because I'm very open about my sobriety, and I'm very open, on my socials about it. But actually, to say, I kind of feel it's like the first time I've really kind of said out loud, especially those 2 incidences where I know I was heading towards my absolute just rock bottom.
So how did you deal with it when you made that decision and you said, okay, I'm not drinking anymore? What was the next step you took? Because it's easy to say I'm done drinking, right? Yeah. But then to actually do it, you have to have some sort of plan in place. What was your plan?
Well, so after COVID, I tried. So I stopped and starts from 2020 until 2022. The biggest thing was, there were 2 things. One, I woke up on the 1st of January and said, I am going to run myself sober. Run myself sober. I said, I'm going to run a mile a day for the first 100 days, because I'll start my day.
How many kilometers is that?
A mile is... So 5 kilometers is 3 and a bit miles.
Okay, so like 2 points.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So and I was like, I had to start my day, whatever thing. I had to get up, get out, and start my day. So knowing that I had to do that made me think, right, well, I'm not going to drink. If I was drinking, then I wasn't going to do it. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, I was very public about it. I told everybody about it. And so I was using like my socials like as accountability, saying, my mile a day. But I think I said more like for my mental health, because it was, but it was kind of for, obviously mental health. And it was, and I remember the first few months of giving up alcohol, my sleep was all over the place, because it really affects your sleep. So sleep was all over the place, my energy levels, sugar cravings. Now, it's not that I was craving. People kind of say, they make the mistake saying, oh, it's because there's sugar in alcohol. It's not. It's the dopamine hit.
Yeah.
You're craving. And I need to get this ready. People say, oh, I mean, I would eat bags of like gummy bears and things because it's like that reward. It's the reward. So I was running a mile a day, eating my body weight in candy and gummy bears. So then people kind of yet again kind of go, oh, but the weight just fell off. I did lose like 20 pounds, but that didn't happen until further on down. Initially, there's like you're sleeping badly, and if you sleep badly, as we know, if you sleep badly, then you just want to eat all the food.
Domino effect.
Yeah, exactly. And I did try AA. I need to put that in. I did try AA. AA didn't work for me. I left the meetings wanting to drink more, personally. Just didn't work for me. But what did work for me, there was a book called This Naked Mind by Annie Grace. And what she does is she looking at your why, about, tapping into your unconscious mind, to help make the change and just flipping the switch rather than saying, I can't drink. It's like you say to someone, I can't have chocolate. I can't have pizza. What do you want? It's all you think about, isn't it? You're like, if you say you can't do something. And so I had been, up until this time, when I'd been doing, like the kind of sober January or dry January, you're like, I can't drink this month. Yeah. But as soon as it gets to February the 1st, you drink double, And so what the biggest shift was like, I don't drink. I don't drink. And it started off also in this first month, you have to sit down and you write your why. Like, why do you drink? Yeah. So why, literally looking in, a lot of journaling, a lot of like, why do I do what I do? Why do I do? Now, if I didn't do what would be, what would be the, what would be the result?
Very emotional.
Very, very, very.
You have to be super raw with yourself and open with yourself, which I think people don't do. They're always hiding behind like a screen or whatever and just not admitting to themselves like deeper reasons for why they do things. And I think it's very powerful.
Honestly, I numbed my emotions for about 30 years.
Oh, wow.
After the initial kind of 6 months of just, there's a lot of physical changes, but I've been continuing to do a lot of working, emotional changes. I now take things very, very personally. I feel all the feelings. I feel everything, which is tough.
Because you were numbing it for years with alcohol, yeah.
So it's tough. So now, I'm more sensitive. I'm more self-aware of myself, but also aware of what's going on around me. I am a better coach because I'm literally more aware of what's going on around me. I mean, I never drank when I was coaching, but I would have been hungover and I would have been, I would have been tired, and I wasn't firing on, on all cylinders. Whereas now everything's heightened. Everything's heightened. But what it's, then I can also really recognize other people's struggles, be it with food or with alcohol or with whatever kind of addictive personalities. I can see how I used alcohol to just numb what I was feeling. And now I feel all the feels. But actually now I know it's a good thing. Saying that, but I still continue the running. So I started with those 100 days. So you asked me about the kind of social life. So then my social life now is I run races. I do races at the weekend. I say social. I don't actually meet anybody doing. I have a great friend, my friend Alexei, who we do the races together. But it's not like I actually meet other people at the races.
Going out.
It's my going out.
Like when I socialize with my friends, I don't really talk to other people. I'm just with my friends.
Yeah, yeah. So it's my kind of going out, and that has become so important to me, and I really look forward to it. On the weekends, I don't have a race. I also, the flip side. So this is all sounding great. The flip side, it's been pretty lonely. Because people stopped inviting me. People didn't invite me out anymore. Possibly because I might have been a bit of a dick, and I had my drinking days. Or the other thing that happens, people stop inviting you out because you hold up a mirror and they maybe makes them question. You're like, oh, does it mean that I don't have to drink? Or does it mean that, am I going to be, self-conscious drinking in front of Katherine? So they're like, I'd much rather she wasn't here so I can just carry on doing what I'm doing.
But how do you feel though, like being around alcohol if you were in the situation?
Now it's okay. But now I'm over 3.5 years in. For the first, and I'll be honest, year and a half, I didn't put myself anywhere near it.
Yeah, that makes sense because like I normally yearly I do like this 60-day challenge, and I mean I just don't put myself into the situation. I just my friends know I'm not going to socialize for 60 days. Don't bother telling me what you guys are doing. I'll see you after because I just choose not to put myself in this situation.
Yeah.
So I don't have the willpower.
Sometimes it's like an out of sight, out of mind. But I'll be honest, those first year or so, I would walk past, especially like in Valencia, like in the summer, the terrazas, everyone sitting there with their chilled white wine, and socializing and chatting. But then what I do is I'd play, and it was something that's in this Naked Minds. I play the tape forward. You play the tape forward. You kind of look and you go, okay, maybe the first glass. It would be great if I could have just stopped at the first glass.
But you can't.
But I can't. And so you play the tape forward and you go, that first glass. So maybe you have a nice social situation. But then what I would do, I would go via the 7-Eleven and get a bottle and have that at home on my own. So then I'd wake up the next morning not remembering what time I went to bed and feeling miserable. And so it wasn't the social. So it's playing the tape forward. And it's like, it's just reminding yourself. And that's one thing's giving up the alcohol. But the other thing is there's just to keep reminding yourself of it's just not worth it. It's just, for me, I mean, there are, and I call them unicorns. There are the people who can just drink every now and again. But it's not the case for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I was younger, I had a bit of a problem, not in terms of like the amount I was drinking, but my behavior. But I realized it was because of a lot of suppression of emotions that was happening since I was a really young child. And then when I started seeking help for my behavior, I realized that it was, I mean, alcohol was obviously making things worse, but it wasn't the dependency that was a problem. It was me not wanting to deal with other issues that I had.
Yeah.
Because there was no dependency really. It was like, it would be like, once a month, but then I just overdo it and then behave really badly and everything. And then once I started dealing with and getting therapy and everything for my emotional part of it, if I see myself drinking now versus when I was 23, it's two completely different people. Like I used to be agitated, I used to be angry, sometimes I'd get violent. Right. Now I'm like super chill and nice and friendly. And
and what's like made the biggest change? So
just getting in touch with my emotions. I think I spent a long time of my life not opening up about my feelings and suppressing. Something bothered me or anything. And I think it started when I was a kid. I was very sensitive. I still am. But I was told, like my mom and my dad, I love them. I love you guys. But I used to cry for everything.
Okay.
And so they'd always be like, oh, wait, the tears are just about to come out. Oh, they're just waiting. So the more they did that, the more I started like, I'm not going to cry anymore. Yeah. I'm not going to cry. And this
so you're building up a wall, really right?
Yeah. It was like I was really young when this started, and I think it just stuck, and I didn't realize it, Okay. And so like when I would get upset, I wouldn't cry. Yeah. I'd get angry, and then the older I got, it would lash out in like physical altercations and things like that. And then when I did therapy and realized I just need to cry, like it's okay to be sensitive, it's okay to be emotional, and and I started doing
it's not weak. It's not weak. I know, yeah.
And now I cry for everything and I'm fine. I actually prefer this. Like if something bothers me, I'd rather talk about it and cry it out than be that person again. Because I would drink, I would get angry, I would see red and not remember anything.
Yeah.
My mom would be like, "Oh, you guys don't know how to drink properly. You abuse it." And I was like, "There's more."
Don't know how to drink properly. Ooh.
I was like, "There's more to it than that." But yeah. So that was basically my thing with it. That's how. But it was more an emotional thing because I thought I also had there was a point in my life where I said, "Okay, maybe I shouldn't drink." Like I'm getting violent all the time. But then,
And it was only with alcohol.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I started dealing with the emotional part of it, I started drinking again. And I was fine. And also another thing, I don't do hard liquor.
Mm.
It's just I stopped drinking hard liquor such a long time ago, and
Mm.
I don't know if that like sparked something or not,
Yeah,
but
possibly.
possibly. But now like just a couple of beers and that's
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
never get wasted. I never get drunk.
Yeah. It's funny you think about these kind of rules that not rules you put on yourself. Like I used to say, well, I won't drink before 12 o'clock,
Mm.
or we think of kind of people with alcohol problems as someone who's lying on a bench, with, drinking out of
Yeah,
a, out of
that's
a,
not a
out,
thing.
out of a paper bag. And so like saying, look, I won't, hard liquor, recognizing that there might have been something in it that just tipped you
Because
over
it
the
flipped.
edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I never, like if I would stay with just wine. And if I had like a vodka and tonic, guaranteed, I'd go batshit crazy,
Yeah, yeah, if it
And if
works.
you tried alcohol-free beers,
I hate them. I just think
yeah.
they're useless.
So
Absolutely useless.
this is interesting. So I tried yet again that first kind of couple of months because it's about habit. So like every evening I would, while I was preparing supper, I would always usually be drinking. And so I tried that, and I was never really a beer drinker. I wish I was a one beer girl, and then a two bottle,
You can't
two,
be a one beer girl. Beer's so light. It's
yeah, yeah.
impossible.
I know. I just didn't. I didn't like it. Really, really
Yeah.
like it. But then I tried the kind of 0% beer, and that kind of helped for a while, just because I felt I needed to kind of ease myself into kind of having nothing. And then now I don't have any.
Like I have
Yeah.
0% beers in the fridge.
Mm.
Because I use those when I'm at home. I
Mm.
prefer if I'm gonna have a drink. I spend a lot of time alone.
Mm.
Some evenings or when the weather's nice, I do want to sit down and have a drink, and people are busy,
Mm.
so it's a thing that I have to go out, sit in a restaurant, have my one drink or at a bar, and come back home. So I just don't keep them at home.
I used to have these rules. I'd only have one bottle. Because I had two bottles at home, I would drink two. And so it was like I have my one bottle, but the weekends, it would start like I'd have at 12 o'clock, I could have my white wine, and then in the evening, I could have my red wine. And so I had,
Oh, the white and red mix.
well, no, I had white in the daytime and then the red in the evening. So that was it. So and then what would happen to my weekends were such a waste. And then then I'd have siestas and then wake up feeling groggy, and not want to do kind of necessarily want to do anything. But now most Sunday mornings, I'm up and I'm getting up and I'm going off and I'm doing a race. And by 11 o'clock, when people are still people are starting to kind of appear out of their rooms, I've done a race, I've been social, and I kind of set up for the day. So yeah.
And I also think the older we get as well, recovery from alcohol does get harder. Like for me, I don't get drunk. Like I'll have like 2 or 3 beers, but I'm tired the next day.
Well, also for women as we age, unfortunately, we don't metabolize it as well. So then, for example, like I work with a lot of women kind of perimenopausal, menopausal, and it makes their symptoms, even worse.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of thinking, oh, I need a glass of wine to relax. You absolutely
Mm-mm.
don't need a glass of wine to relax. You absolutely don't.
That's the thing with it. When people start to say I need, like for me, but my narrative is always like, I feel like having a beer right now. It's never like I don't need one. It's okay, I'm good.
Yeah, you either want it or you don't want it, but you don't need it.
No, yeah, and I guess it's like because I grew up in a country that was alcohol free.
Yeah.
So when I would drink, it wasn't as often, and if I was drinking, it was when I was university or when I would travel. So I go months on end without any alcohol, and it really made no difference to my life.
Yeah.
So like now that I'm here in this environment where it's so easy to just get out and have a drink, it doesn't really bother me so much. Like I'll have it if I want it, and I won't have it if I don't want it.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
But so did you grow up? So obviously being an alcohol kind of free country. So because like in England, for example, alcohol is everywhere. It's everywhere. So you say, obviously your parents are drinking. You drink when you celebrate. You drink when you commiserate. You drink when you're happy. You drink when you're sad. And it's just there. So it's normalized that actually it's really normalized to drink to excess often because
it's everywhere.
Yeah.
No, we didn't have it. So
yeah.
It's easier. But that's the thing though, we didn't have it. But when we were younger as teenagers, because it was not allowed,
Yeah.
we would try it obviously,
Mm.
and then we'd abuse it. And again, there's no rules, but we're kids, you know, as you get older. But the good thing with us, like being party animals, me and my sister and my friends and stuff, the good thing that came out of it was that when we went off to university, we didn't go as crazy as kids normally do when they hit the age to get alcohol. Because we saw a lot of kids from school who went out of the country and went to other places. They just like, you know, lost it. And I get it. University, you party, it's fine. And we did for a little bit, but it was like, it's fine, because we were clubbing in India since we were 15. You know, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't that thing of, oh, I have to get absolutely shit faced right now.
Yeah.
So I think in a way it kind of turned out good that we, you know, stole alcohol from our parents when we were kids.
Yeah. But like my dad was in the army and the military. I mean, it's they have parties and dinner parties, and alcohol is very much part of the, you know, the way of life. Not anymore.
Okay, so when you ran yourself sober, you said you lost 20 pounds, right?
Yeah.
So what other like physical changes did you see? Because you were already quite old and quite older at this point, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, you were my age. You were my age.
No. When I got sober, I was 50.
Okay.
No. Hang on. What am I? 55 now. So like I was 52.
Okay.
So
what I mean is like, what other physical changes you see? Because you obviously went through your perimenopause.
Yep.
While you were drinking, which
Yep.
must have been absolutely crazy.
Yep.
And then you already went through menopause at this point? Or
yeah. So I had my last period, September 2019. So so went through menopause whilst drinking. And yeah.
You're already going through all these different feelings, and you're physiologically changing as well, your metabolism, your hormones, and all of that. So my question when I say physical change, did you lose the weight because of the alcohol coming off, or, you know, were you afraid you were going to gain weight?
Okay, so yeah, great question. So basically, what I did once after those initial sort of 6 months of my sleep being all over the place, I made sleep my superpower. So I would go, and I still to this day, I go to bed and I get up at the same time every day. So I get good quality sleep. So by getting good quality sleep, I want to make better choices with my food. And so then, I mean, I'm not a great cook. I don't know. I eat the same sort of things day in, day out. But it was like, right, prioritizing the protein, keeping it simple, not going out. So one thing is like when you're drinking, one thing's the alcohol, but then when you're hungover, what kind of food do you tend to eat?
Greasy,
fatty. Yeah. So that take that out of the equation. My sleep, obviously not having the liquid calories helped towards, and then the running. I don't want to say the running lost the weight. I think it was the habits of my sleep, really dying down on my nutrition, and just being consistent. So the 20 pounds was over. It's over, it's over a good kind of year or two. It wasn't quick. It was just a steady loss.
Did you feel like it was harder for you to build muscle?
Yes. What I have done is okay. So what I have definitely, I've lost muscle mass because as I'm aging, and I'm not strength training. I used to be big into CrossFit, and I used to do a lot of halterophilia, like Olympic lifting. I used to have a lot more time, and I used to have a lot more clients. I have a lot less time. I used to have a lot more time for my training. And what I have noticed with the running, the more running I've done, the less weightlifting I've done, I'm also losing muscle mass. The weight that I lost was definitely fat, but I've also lost muscle mass as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you were drinking, did you have a decent amount of muscle mass?
Yeah.
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 So that didn't really make a difference.
No. But just as we know, like for what, 35, you're 36, right? 36. You know, from 35 onwards, unless you use it, you lose it. Yeah. And I'm very aware of that. And actually, that is one of my kind of goals for the next sort of 5 years, is I want to really start focusing on my strength again. Keep with the running, because the running for my mental health, but I'm seeing changes. Like I've lost my butt. I used to have a great butt. I've lost my butt, but I need to be prioritizing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's great that you had muscle the whole time while you were drinking. Actually, I
I
would think you wouldn't.
yeah. Well, I used to train really hard though because I
Because like
combat my.
I mean, because normally if you're drinking, you're not sleeping well, like
Mm,
we addressed earlier already. But you need quality sleep to actually build and repair muscle.
yeah, I
So
know.
that's really interesting.
When I ran a marathon, I did all sorts of things. I mean, I had a month off before the marathon, but I remember thinking to myself when I was drinking and what I was doing, like going, it's amazing that I can do what I do, you
With
know,
whatever, yeah.
with what I'm
I guess
doing.
because you also kind of adapt to it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I've been lifting for years. I mean, I started like 20 years
That's
ago.
why.
So I've been lifting for years. Even though I've been drinking for years, my body is like, I think my body is quite smart. You know, it kind of, it just, yeah, it adapts and it kind of knows what to expect. But what I love now, I mean, my energy levels now. Okay, fine. So I weigh less. I have slightly less muscle mass because of the aging process, and I'm not prioritizing my strength training as much as I was. But my energy levels, what I love, Nick, is I love waking up in the morning and not feeling tired.
You're also lucky because you have already crossed menopause.
Yeah. Come out the other side.
Because I think that makes a difference as well. Like in my case, like I have weeks where I feel super energetic, and that has nothing to do with alcohol. Like even when I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
And there's weeks where I cannot do anything.
Your hormones, no?
Just
Your
the
cycle.
fluctuation of the
Yeah.
emotions and the hormones and the energy levels and everything just feels like chaos.
So I'm here to say that there is life after menopause. There is life after menopause. I mean, I know we all go through different things, but yeah, hormones can be hell.
Yeah.
You know.
And I feel it's getting worse the older I get. Like every year I feel more of the fatigue and more of the lethargicness and more of all of that every single year. And it's like there was times where I wouldn't even realize my period's come and my period's gone.
Yeah.
Yay. There's no different emotions throughout the month. Now I feel them strong.
Right. And they say, I know your period's still the same, or has the cycle changed?
Cycle's the same. Flow is heavier.
Right.
But I feel things a lot more now.
Yeah.
Like I can feel the change and everything, and it's really weird because like it's changed the way I train.
Yeah.
It's changed my energy levels. It's changed sometimes my enthusiasm for life.
Sure.
To be honest. But yeah, it's really annoying because before, like, you know, it wouldn't really make a difference to my training days or what kind of training I was doing, and I could just get up and go train. Now, like before my period, even I don't have the energy to go work out. I force myself. Sometimes I'll just do something at home.
But that's better than nothing, though.
Definitely,
yeah.
But it's just, you know, and I just think, is this going to continue on until I hit menopause?
Just might do. But you know what's great is that you're aware of it. And then it's one thing is being aware, and then just going to go, or knowing, go, right, just predicting, okay, I'm not going to feel like it. So maybe that you plan in your training, that's going to be a lighter day. And it's, it's not going to be a heavy day in the gym. You're going to, and you're going to go, right, maybe today is the day that I get out on my bike and I go. And just knowing, because then it's something is better than nothing. So yeah, it maybe for a while, And do you get hungrier as well around your period and things?
Just before I get hungry, but during I'm not hungry at all.
Yeah.
I lose my appetite. And another thing also, when I do endurance, which I've been doing a lot of endurance now, I have no appetite.
Yeah.
And
which
so
is kind of seems counterproductive, doesn't it? Because you're kind of thinking you need that fuel.
But then I think that also affects my energy.
Yeah.
Because right now my endurance is like I'm at my peak with endurance.
Because didn't you just run a half marathon on your I did. Yeah.
And
where were you in your cycle with that?
During my period.
You were during your period.
Yeah.
And
I wasn't hungry.
No.
After I wasn't hungry.
Yeah.
I didn't have breakfast. I was fine.
Yeah.
I forced myself to eat, but yeah, that normally happens. And then I think it's like this again domino effect where I'm not eating as much as I should be, and therefore also with my hormones, and then I don't have the energy. Of course, I don't have the energy to go to the gym and lift a shit ton of weight if I've barely been eating, but I can't eat.
And even just little small meals.
I try, but it's just. So I end up having like 2 meals a day.
But then you have to be careful because then you can get into these kind of habits.
Exactly.
Cycle. And then it's like when you've been sick, for example, and then you can completely lose your appetite. It's really hard to get back into it. So just kind of little small meals or just finding.
This happens every month, like for a week. So this cycle. It just happens. But then what I also do is like I do give in to like having my ice cream and stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm still like eating calories.
Yeah,
Might
yeah.
not be the best calories, but I'm trying to eat calories.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And everyone's different. Every woman I've come across has had has different cycles, different symptoms. But I think when I stopped drinking, my hot flashes during the day went, almost disappeared. My night sweats almost disappeared. So it was like, was it the alcohol or was it menopause? I'll never know. I'll never know. But I really suffered through menopause for a couple of years. I'd be training a client. It would be midwinter, and I would suddenly just start sweating, night sweats, and having to change the sheets every night. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And now I just sweat when it's, just because it's just normal, just because it's Valencia and it's hot.
It's
but
hot.
yeah.
Okay, so you've dealt with an addiction to alcohol. Now you're sober, but you work with a lot of women, right? Who obviously probably have some problems, whether it's, let's put alcohol out of it, but maybe like food addiction problems or something like that. Like now, do you feel like your issue with, well, your, what's the word I'm looking for? Not your issue. I want to say.
Well, it is an issue. It was an issue. Yeah, my
Okay.
problem.
Your problem with
Yeah,
alcohol
yeah.
helps you, understand these women better. Like if they use like food as a coping mechanism, and are there a lot of women who do that? Like in the kind of people you're training?
Very much so. I mean, I work with really busy women who most of them have got, full-time jobs, they've got kids, they've got partners. And the one thing that they find that they use food as like a comfort. It's the one, it's their go-to. It's their go-to, when they don't really have a lot of time. So then they'll kind of, they'll use food to comfort themselves. And then what that leads to, then that leads to weight gain. And then then they start to loathe this cycle of self-loathing. They know that I need to be really careful using the word shouldn't, good, bad, but they know it's not supporting their physical and their mental health. Hence my drinking. I knew it's not supporting me, but you still did it. And so what we really look at is looking at their relationship with food, relationship with phones. Another thing we look at. So one thing using food to comfort, the other thing using constant scrolling. And if they're not going to bed until 12:30, they can maybe get into bed at 10, but they're not actually going to sleep to maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock, because they're like, but it's the only time I've got to myself. I get that, but then the less sleep, then they wake up the next day, then they're feeling, and I always say it's like kind of 5 fundamentals: sleep, nutrition, what you eat, movement, stress management, and connection. And I feel like if your sleep is out, be it through late night scrolling or late night snacking, then that'll have obviously effect on what you eat the next day. You feel hungrier, then maybe you don't feel like going to the gym, and then maybe you arrange to meet your friend and you don't meet your friends, so then that loses the connection. So it's women come to me because they generally want to lose weight and kind of get fit, and we look at what's holding them back. For me, was alcohol. For most of the women I work with, is either food or phones. I have to say,
so the system that you used to get yourself sober, do you put that into play as well when it comes to these women in a different way, obviously? Because at the end of the day, I think like anything can be an addiction, right?
Yeah, exercise can be an addiction.
It can be unhealthy.
Yeah. Anything to extreme, anything where you feel, it's about control. But it's interesting. It's about control. But what I'm helping these women also take back control. So it's kind of slightly nuanced. So what we tend to do is we look at their lifestyle and we make little small changes. Look and see one thing that they feel they can change. I always say to the women, I want them to feel at the end of the week like they're winning the week, not like they're like failing the week. So for me, like with my mile a day, like I could, if I had to, I could walk my mile a day, or I could run it, but it was doable. It wasn't like saying I'm going to run 10K a day. That felt too much. By making small, achievable, something that they feel that they can do, and it might literally be like, okay, we're going to just this week try and say it's 11 o'clock, with your phone, or maybe it's 11:15. Let's just try that. Let's just see, and then it's slowly, this compound effect building on that. So yeah, so it kind of does transfer. So making small changes and just step by step, small steps. Because as soon as you try and do too much too soon, it's like fad diets. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can lose a shitload of weight really, really quickly, cutting everything out. Is that sustainable? No. Is it miserable? Absolutely. It needs to be. What I'm all about is building sustainable lifestyle habits. And so for me, my drinking, it took, it was a slow, long process, but it's now actually what's interesting is my identity. I am a non-drinker. Like then the women I work with say, I take women from being non-exercisers to like exercise as a priority. I am somebody who exercises. James Clear, Atomic Habits, talks about this a lot. He's another one of my, the book by my
great book.
But yeah. So it's about your identity, saying, okay, maybe just doing one press up a day doesn't feel like very much, but do that every single day, and that compound effect, by the end of the year, you're going to feel stronger. And also you've shown up for yourself every day by doing that one thing, starting the day having a glass of water before your coffee. Feels like, it's like, what difference is that going to make? But then you're actually prioritizing your health and yourself. You're starting off thinking, this is supporting my health. I'm doing something this for me.
Yeah.
And that can have a knock-on effect. I have a non-negotiable. I get out for a walk before work. Either Monday, Wednesday, Fridays is a walk. Tuesday, Thursdays is a run. It's setting myself up for the day.
It's your non-negotiable.
It's my non-negotiable. And we try and find non-negotiables which support and encourage the women that I work with. It's really important that they feel like they're winning, not that they're failing, because the reason that maybe they came to me in the first place is because they feel like they've just tried everything and they failed.
They already like crossed menopause, right?
No, I have a mixture. Yeah. So no, I have all stages, but only women. I don't work with men.
Well, the non-negotiable, like for me, is also I just get up and go for a walk or just move my body. I used to be a morning gym person. Now I don't go in the morning anymore because I've realized I need to really eat well before going to the gym. But then I do cardio in the morning. And then I do end up slacking off in the summer. I'll be completely honest. I'm a lot more social and everything. And then I slack off. So what I do is I borrow my friend's dog to
love that
a habit.
Yeah.
As soon as I wake up, doesn't matter what time it is, whether I wake up at 7 or whether I wake up at 10, I have to take the dog out. And then once I give the dog back, the habit remains.
Yeah. I was hoping he'd be here today.
No, she left because I traveled.
Okay. Yeah. No, I've seen that. I've been watching and loving these.
So she helps me get these routines going. And, I'm not ashamed to say that sometimes I can't do it myself. So I know that this helps.
Yeah.
So I take the help.
Absolutely. Yeah. But then also, Nick, that's why we do what we do. Yeah. We're there to help, and you said about not being ashamed, and you shouldn't be ashamed. It's about to be able to ask for help, but it's hard. I mean, it's that feeling of like, I have to kind of do it on your own. There's always help out there. And if it comes in the form of 4 legs and a dog, then great. If it comes in, reaching out to a coach, then great.
Because this is what I always tell my clients. Like, I don't portray myself as this perfect person who wakes up at 5 a.m. and does this, and then my nutrition is on point every single day, and I don't drink, and I make sure I go to the gym every single day. It's not the case, right? For me, yes, I move a lot more than the average person, 100%. But I'm very open with my clients as well that I have my slip-ups. I have weeks where I feel super hormonal and I don't want to do anything. So, I'm going to help you as much as I can from what I do for myself. And it's okay to say that I couldn't make it this week because I was feeling XXX. That's fine. We can do better next week, you know? Yeah. And like even for me, like in the case of me not wanting to go to the gym sometimes when I'm low on energy, my non-negotiable is to move my body.
Yeah.
I've got weights.
Yeah.
15 minutes. I'm done.
Yeah.
The point is, do it.
Yeah.
I don't have to have a whole hour session, heavy weights in the gym. Yeah. And then, because a lot of the times I feel like people also say, I don't have time for a whole session. So I'm just going to do nothing on that day.
Something is always better than nothing, even if it's just going out for a 10-minute walk around the block. Yeah. And then there's rule. What's the rule of don't go 2 days without doing anything? I mean, I never go 2 days without doing anything, without moving your body. I mean, my big thing is like move. Like we are designed to move. We are designed to move. And at 55, I don't have aches and pains. I don't have aches and pains. I literally, I mean, I'm slightly, slightly annoying. I kind of bounce out of, I hope you're not annoying, but I bounce out of bed because hydration's on point, nutrition's on point, sleep is on point. I'm not dehydrated because I'm not dehydrating myself with alcohol anymore. I love the fact that I don't ache.
Would you say you are the healthiest and the fittest that you have been right now at 55 than you were before?
Oh, 100%. 100%. But not only fit physically, but mentally, I'm not full of self-loathing. I respect and I like myself. I loathed myself for years. I now actually quite like myself.
That's amazing.
So
love yourself.
Yeah. So my next thing is now to get out and work on my connection level, to go out and start meeting, be socializing.
I mean, you got in touch with me.
Yeah. So I did, didn't I?
Yeah, you sent me a message.
I did. So
you are putting connections out there.
I'm putting there, yeah.
Well, I mean, for me as well, with the whole moving my body thing, like I was speaking to a friend yesterday, so I just did the half marathon. So I've been running for the past year. I hated running. I still kind of do, but anyway, this was a challenge.
Congratulations on your half marathon.
Thank you. This is a challenge I put myself up to, but like now I've been back for 2 days, and I'm going to do the last 100K of Camino de Santiago. So I'm going to be walking. So yesterday, and then I have a cycling trip with 750 kilometers. So yesterday I was speaking to my friend and she's like, are you going through a midlife crisis? And I was like, no, honestly, I just feel I'm so thankful. And I feel so blessed that I'm able to move my body.
Yeah.
I have aches and pains, yes, but only after like, bit of like now after the marathon, like I've been struggling a little bit, but I know it's going to go away. But of course, I'm like loading my body, but I also take care of recovery and everything. But yeah, so like, when people say, oh yeah, you're doing
so why did she think it was a midlife crisis? Because it feels like, was she someone who
sign up for marathons? Because there's all these reels going around like, well, how do you know your friend is in a midlife crisis is signing up for a marathon? Things like that.
Because was it only 1% of the population doing? Was it 3%? 3% do a half marathon, 1% do a marathon.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, I was like, no, I mean, honestly, moving to Spain, like I started moving my body a lot more than just in the four walls of a gym, which has been amazing. And I'm 36 now, but I'm definitely fitter, stronger. I'm much healthier now than I was in my 30s. And that's because I get to move my body, and I've learned that I get to do it. So when you messaged me for my marathon, you said, remember, you get to do this.
Yeah.
It wasn't like,
you don't have to do it. No, you get to do it.
Yeah.
But don't you feel also environment makes it? I mean, we've made up, we're very fortunate that we live in a
100%.
city. We live in a city, like I come out of my door and I've got the Turia, literally right by literally out the front door. I have a swimming pool. We have the climate. So yes, we are fortunate. I mean, we have moved here. We've made our own, made our own decisions, but it is, and also like, for example, like my daughter's 17. I don't have to, if I had like a 4-year-old as a single mum, I wouldn't be able to just go out at 6:30 in the morning and leave her. Even in my drinking days, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't leave her on her own. So there are also kind of time and places and different stages.
This is why I moved here, to be completely honest, because when I was living in Kuwait, I mean, it's home, but I just started to feel a little suffocated in the sense that being just training in a gym, waiting for like 3 months a year where we get good weather where I can go out for a walk or go out for a run, and then like
because too hot, right?
Yeah, and then planning trips around like, okay, I want to do a trip where I want to have fun, but I also want to like be out in nature. But then I don't have that many days off to be able to do that, so I either like go for a party trip or I go for a nature trip, and it was always like this thing, and I just felt like I just want to be in nature. I just want to move my body. I don't want to feel like I'm barely even doing 5,000 steps. I have to really force it when I go back home. Even now when I go back home, I really have to push myself to do the steps because it's, where do I do them? unless I'm in the gym and walking on a treadmill for like 2 hours, you know? So I really wanted the change, and this was the place that I chose. Well, it kind of happened, but it was the best thing that happened because the opportunity that we have to go outside. And when I meet people here who don't really do any of these things and they have the time, they don't have kids, they're not married, nothing. And I'm just like, but why? Why are you not using this wonderful advantage that we have?
The problem is maybe they're not prioritizing their kind of the health, but what happens, they don't do it now, it will have an effect 100%. Later on. You know, they'll be the ones that when they're in their 60s and their 70s, you know, will be feeling aches and pains and less energy. What we do now has such an effect for our future health and future self. I mean, this 100%. Is my thing. I go on and on about it. I just, and even if it, and it's finding also, but it's finding what you enjoy. You know, I mean, there's the kind of hard bits, which kind of you have to be certain areas, certain. But what can be hard is starting something new, you know, or the beginning of a program, starting kind of new exercises. But it's finding something you enjoy, and then just sticking to it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So the running, you're gonna. So the full marathon, when's that happening?
Not happening.
Not this year, no.
No, I don't think. I mean, I personally prefer cycling over running.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep running. I just need to decide whether I want to, what kind of distances I want to do. But I'm not gonna do 42K. I just
never say never.
It's
never say
I
never.
didn't feel, you know, they say like after you finish a half marathon, you think, oh, I want to do a full, but I didn't feel that. I felt like I could do half again.
Yeah. I did the full marathon here in Valencia. It was the 1st of December, and my 50th birthday was the 2nd of December. So I woke up on my 50th birthday feeling like I was 100. You know, so I did the Valencia marathon,
but which you did just before your 50th birthday.
Yeah. I mean, it was the hardest thing I've ever done, and I didn't run for a year afterwards because it put me off so much.
Oh wow!
But I mean, I'm now back to it. You know, like seasons. You know, like you know, so it's finding So
I go through seasons as well.
Yeah.
Like this is my endurance season right now. Like until January, it's all going to be about endurance. Then it goes back to lifting, and I keep changing. And I've come to terms with it because you know it's always like,
but you keep moving.
Do I want to get good at just one thing? I don't, because I enjoy everything. I spent years lifting weights in the gym. I want to do different things now.
Yeah.
And I want to. I don't want to be a professional athlete in anything. I want to be a good enough athlete in everything.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Love that. Yeah. Love that.
If somebody listening is sober curious or struggling with alcohol, but feels nervous to take the leap, what is the one small step that you would advise them to take today, and why should they?
Okay, so first of all, there is so much out there. Like, listen to podcasts. I mean, there are great. There's like lots of sober curious podcasts. I would really recommend This Naked Mind, the book. Just educate yourself. Don't think you suddenly have to stop. Just educate yourself. And actually, Annie Grace also does 30-day alcohol experiment, which you can actually drink whilst doing it. It's a series. I know it seems crazy. It's a series of videos that you follow every day. There's an app. It's totally free. And rather than just saying stop drinking, it's each day it kind of builds on an idea of, makes you think about writing down why, the whys, the when, becoming more self-aware. So that would be, for me, a really, said the alcohol, so it's called The Alcohol Experiment. Annie Grace would be a really good start. And just informing yourself, or reaching out, obviously reaching out to friends that you know maybe are alcohol free and asking for help, support.
Do other activities.
Do other well, obviously you could start walking. If you don't want to run yourself sober, you could walk yourself sober. You could join a gym or join a class, or just, let's say if you always find you're drinking in the evenings, you could find, maybe there's an art class or a music class or a choir or something, and just replacing that. So try, and if you can, replace or change that activity, go to bed earlier.
What about if somebody tends to drink alone? To slowly change that by doing an activity and having a drink at the activity. Does that make a difference? I'm just thinking of the logic behind it.
Okay.
To cut down on drinking alone, for example.
But then you're associating alcohol with the kind of a good time.
True.
Which we want to kind of disassociate that with. So I would say no, but I mean, Because is it better to be drinking with someone than rather drinking on your own? I think the most important thing one could do is get a piece of paper and write down why. Why do you drink? And just take a moment, do a little bit of journaling, just why. Have a little bit of reflection. But maybe that's 2 or 3 steps ahead. It's just if you can reach out for support, it is replacing the habit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of replacing the habit. It's finding something which is realistic. It's not saying, right, I'm suddenly start doing a class on the other side of town, which means I've got to get a bus or a taxi, or it's going to cost more money than I've got. It's finding something, and it literally could be saying, after dinner, I'm going to go out for a walk, and then come back. I'm going to brush my teeth, and I'm going to go to bed, rather than drinking on your own. I mean, these dry January, sober Octobers, I mean, it's a start, but in my experience, I found it's like losing weight, like doing fad diets. You lose all the weight and then you bounce back and you gain double.
Yeah, it's not realistic.
It's not looking at the why. We all know how, and the what, you just don't buy it and you stop. But that's not a deep enough reason to not drink. My advice would be is to look at why. And if you're lonely, it could be, they say HALT. So if you're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, so thinking about your alcohol, okay, maybe not hungry, but hangry, possibly.
Hangry.
Yeah. Like if you're lonely, you drink. If you're tired, maybe you drink. If you're bored, you drink. If you're sad, you drink. And then looking at that and then going, well, what can I do to change that feeling, that state? So it means I don't rely on alcohol.
Yeah. Oh, you've been through an amazing journey, and you look great for your age.
Thank you.
And you're strong and you're fit, and it's amazing how you've overcome this. It's like self-awareness, and it's super, super important to have that.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for having me.
Joining.
Thank you for letting me.
Thank you for being in my studio.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Thank you. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us for It's Pretty Simple. This is Katherine. I'm going to put all her details down in the show notes below. If you have any questions, if you're curious about anything, you can reach out to her via Instagram.
Yeah.
At the bottom. And if this episode resonated with you or you have anything you'd like to share, please make sure to leave a comment. We would love to hear from you. Katherine will get in the comment section as well. And if you're not subscribed or following this channel, please make sure to do so. I'll see you next time.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, guys.